Can you dig the digits, Carl?
It's a good time. I can totally dig it. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Windy City Digits. That's Vic. I'm Carl.
What's up?
Just finished with a live stream. Thanks to our boy C-Dub for letting us be a part of that. That was fun. So
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll leave a link to his channel in the comments below. But welcome back to another episode of Wildcard Wednesday.
Woo!
And,
it's a wild Wednesday, man.
There's a lot to talk about again every Wednesday.
There is a ton.
So the Bears play tomorrow night, debuting the new orange unis and the new orange helmet, and then Bulls just wrapped up the preseason. So, Storm, what's going on, brother?
Stormy.
Where do you want to start tonight?
Stormy night. Is that a song?
Let's see which one of us gets into a debate with Storm first tonight.
All right.
So which one do you want to go? Bears, Bulls.
Let's talk Bears first.
Okay, let's talk Bears.
Okay, so N'Keal Harry is coming back. He's gonna save the Bears season.
Well, according to Getsy, he's not ready to play yet.
No, I was kidding. He's not. Yeah, I'm not confident in any of our receivers right now.
Well, against that defense tomorrow.
Well, hopefully we show something. I mean, the 28th or 29th rated defense.
Oh, well, look, I saw a stat today on Twitter where all the defenses they've played so far this year have allowed less than 20 points. This is the first defense we've played that averages more than 20 points, that allows more than 20 points a game.
So Storm says 19-14. Let's start off with our predictions first.
31-17.
Not again.
I'm sticking with 31-17.
I am going to go with 27-20 Bears.
How many touchdowns does Justin Fields account for tomorrow night?
I think he's going to get 3.
All passing?
No, 1 rush, 2 pass.
So that's 21 points right there.
And 2 field goals.
So you don't think any of our running backs are going to score tomorrow?
No, I think our passing game is going to be solid.
Okay. Storm, what do you think about tomorrow? How many touchdowns do you think
he's got him winning 19-14, man?
How many think touchdowns? Well, that's at least what? That's what, 1 touchdown and 4 field goals?
Yeah, Santos is going to be busy. Busy guy.
Kicking on the Bermuda grass.
Did you hear Roquan Smith joking around about the uniforms, calling them like highlighters?
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
There would be a bunch of orange highlighters running down.
It's gonna be cool running around and looking like highlighters tomorrow. So
1 TD for Fields. So I picked up Fields again on my fantasy team because I had.
Did you drop him?
I did. I dropped him after the 3rd game, I think, and then I picked him back up because I've got a quarterback on bye. I'm like, I either got Russell Wilson, who may or may not play, and then maybe Fields is my backup.
My top receivers on a bye. Stephon Diggs is on a bye this week.
So Jalen Johnson's coming back, so that's great news for the Bears.
Yep.
He's ready to go. He's had 3 practices in a row.
There's your advice. Add Geno Smith. I think someone's already got him.
Yeah, I think someone already took him. I just dropped Tannehill for the time being. No one's going to pick him up. We don't have wise players in our league like Carl.
Correct. Number 1 in the league, by the way.
That is true. So, what are you looking for the Bears in this game? What do you want to see?
I want to see Justin Fields build on what he did last week. I want him to look comfortable in the pocket. I want to look comfortable in the back, in the run in the offense. I want to see the Bears defense make adjustments in the first half, as opposed to waiting the halftime, right? But look, I think overall on the offensive side, I want to see Justin Fields continue moving forward with that improvement.
I'd like to see some more short passes to Kmet. I like to see Velus Jones get in the game a little bit more than what he had, maybe 3 snaps.
More than Pettis or
more than Pettis, more than
Smith Marset.
Yep. It seems like Aquaman. I can say it however I want, man.
Sure you can.
Some people say Velas. Some people say Velas.
Tomato.
That's right. So those are a couple things I want to see. I want to see Velas getting the ball thrown.
Mikey, what's going on, brother?
Junk, man. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
C-Dub. That's C-Dubs, man.
Oh, C-Dubs. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, it's C-Dubs, man.
C-Dubs, thanks a lot, man. That was a lot of fun. We appreciate you having
Shout
us
out.
on, brother.
I wish we had a good radio voice like C-Dubs.
Yeah, C-Dubs got the great voice. So look, I think
he does, man.
Tomorrow, and I think tomorrow for Kyler Gordon's going to be a big game because with Jalen Johnson coming back, they're not going to throw that way.
No, you're right. They're going to be going to Gordon.
They're going to throw Gordon's way all night.
They're going to pick on that poor guy. And Washington's got some decent receivers. So,
yeah, but they don't have a quarterback.
Correct. So,
did you see Rivera call him out? His quarterback,
yeah, that was terrible. He apologized for it. It's kind of like Draymond Green apologizing for clocking
for Jordan Poole.
Yeah,
right.
That was a horrible call. They got Carson Wentz in a trade. He's actually they've been talking about a shoulder injury with him too. So, yes, I did.
Yeah, he heard about Rivera and calling him out, right? Yeah,
Gordon.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, Gordon did play pretty decently that last game, honestly. But no one could guard Justin Jefferson. Jefferson was like a kid in a candy store, just taking all the candy away from everybody.
They just refused to make any adjustments. To just let him catch 13, let Kirk Cousins go 17 for 17, let him break the record, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, why not? So, yeah, so we'll see. I'll be happy if Fields plays like he did last game. We should win this game.
Look, the other thing too is look, this is the only game tomorrow night, right? This is national TV, right?
Amen, bro.
Either this is their chance to prove everybody wrong, and even though it's against the Commanders, right? But this is their chance to show up and say, look, we're not as bad as all of you think we are.
As our uniforms look.
Correct. As we look like highlighters out there.
Peter Pumpkin Patch, man. Revere our quarterback, right?
Yeah.
That was a terrible answer, man.
Yeah. What's the problem with that team? Yeah. And the worst part about that is that he's comparing him to Cooper Rush in Dallas. Right?
Yeah.
The guy's started 4 games in the NFL, right? So, look, you're right. Look, Storm, they're not going to prove anyone wrong by beating Washington, but you should beat Washington, and you should beat them pretty soundly tomorrow night.
Yeah, we should have beat the Giants too, honestly.
If you don't tomorrow night, then, yeah, people are going to talk. But, if you beat them pretty soundly tomorrow, then you did what you were supposed to.
We're not making it to 7 wins if we lose to Washington tomorrow.
Well, it's a home game, so that's what's giving me hope that we'll pull that one out tomorrow.
Yeah, well, hopefully. So let's turn the tables.
Okay.
Let's talk about the White Sox.
Okay.
The White Sox managerial situation. I'm curious what people think the Sox should do. And I did post a question on Twitter about that, so I'm going to pull that up. But Carl has a unique perspective on this.
As a Sox fan,
he wants an ex-Sox player to be the manager. So why don't you talk about that?
Look, I want the Sox to take the approach they took on the north side, right? Hire a former player who was a catcher. Hire AJ.
Harold Baines, man. I love Harold Baines, man, but yeah. No,
Harold Baines, health-wise, he just had open heart surgery. He just had a massive heart surgery. I think it was open heart. So he's not going to be able to endure a full season for sure.
That's right.
But look, I like the approach. I would like to take the approach that the Cubs took, right? Hire a former catcher who's familiar with the team, who's familiar with the organization, and has a good rapport with players. I think AJ's the guy.
And he's fiery, too.
But that's just me.
He's fiery. He knows how to work with the pitching staff.
And I'm with C-Dub on this too, right? If it's not AJ, then I want Ozzy.
Those are your only 2 options?
Those are my 2 choices.
Your 2 internal choices.
Correct.
Okay, so what if you were talking here? I'll look at some of the responses that I got. So, David Ross. What about
What's
Joe
up, DR?
Madden? Joe Madden.
No,
I don't know why someone says Stephen Curry. Another Joe Madden.
I don't want Joe Madden.
There's been a lot of hubbub about Bruce Bochy. What do you think about Bruce?
Bruce Bochy, the only thing with him is that he's got the pedigree. Like wherever he's gone, he's won. He turned around San Diego. He won with San Francisco. But I don't know. To me, that would be like another La Russa hire. Like I don't know how well he would still relate to it. He's been out of the game for a couple years, so I don't know how well he would still relate to the players. That's the biggest thing.
You know what? Honestly, he did so well. I don't think he. I mean, a couple of years is not a big deal. I just, I don't want another ancient dude that's not going to give his all, falling asleep in the dugout.
No, but like for example, like maybe a guy like Girardi, maybe I'd be open to because he's recently managed. That's a guy I wouldn't, I'd be kind of open to.
Yep.
But like I like what DR is saying here, right? AJ is manager, Creedy, bring back some of these guys, Rowan, Burley. I kind of like that, feel to it, right? So and with the current coaches they've got, I would probably keep Ethan Katz as the pitching coach. That's the one guy I think I would keep. He seemed to be able to turn around some of these guys and keep them in line. So what he did with Cueto was great. So
what about Don Mattingly?
No.
Why is that?
He didn't win.
Well, look where he's at. I mean, that team is always selling people.
Regardless of where you are, right? You got to be able to produce and develop players and then get them to produce. He hasn't produced anything. I don't care what kind of talent he did. Look, then you can.
I don't know if you're. Yeah, I don't know if that's an honest assessment of Don Mattingly. Quite honestly, I would consider him.
No,
I mean, if you're talking about somebody who gets along well with his players, I think he was one of those guys.
And they didn't produce.
No, but there's lots of guys that haven't produced, and they don't have a good owner. They don't make the right decisions in terms of personnel. He doesn't make all those decisions.
Yeah, DR, I think Willie Harris. I think Willie Harris will at least get an interview. I don't know if he's going to be the guy, but I think he's going to get interviewed.
What about this dude, Veritek?
That's an interesting pick. I like the fact that he's a former catcher.
So do I.
Right?
You really like catchers, man.
Look at the track record.
No, I agree. I like catchers as coaches, man. I mean, you really do want someone that can manage a pitching staff and really has had control of the entire field. So I think that's a really good pick if you pick a catcher.
Yeah, the question really is going to be is Rick Hahn going to be actually able to pick the manager, or is Reinsdorf going to step in again and overrule him and say, I want this guy? Because we just threw away the last 2 seasons because Reinsdorf wanted La Russa.
Yep.
No,
you're dead on, man. He wanted to give him. He felt bad about the first go around with La Russa leaving.
Yeah. So
that's about the Sox. I'm not sure. I saw a little. Oh, okay, that was something we already saw. Let's talk about Bulls, because I think most people are excited about the season coming up.
Yeah, and CW was here, and we just finished a live stream with his channel. If you haven't had a chance to check out Shy Bulls podcast, check them out.
Absolutely.
And we had an interesting discussion. So let's throw out that question here. Who do you start? Do you start Javante or do you start Patrick Williams?
Okay, so at this point, I would start Javante Green. However, I do think it does depend on the matchups, because I think sometimes you're going to have to play bigger. I might be wrong. I mean, I think there's some judgment about Javante Green's size and whether he can play against some of those, larger guys at the 4 position. So I think that's the biggest concern about putting Javonte Green in the starting lineup.
Go ahead.
But Javonte Green, in the preseason at least, has shown so much value to the movement of the ball that I can't see him not playing with that first unit.
Yeah, look, I mentioned this on the other live stream we did with C-Dubs, right? Look, Patrick Williams has even said he seems to be more comfortable offensively when he doesn't have both Zach and DeMar there. He seems to be more comfortable being more aggressive. And it showed in the preseason. He was a little passive when he was playing alongside those guys, right? I'll take it the other way, right? Instead of us worrying about defensive matchups, I think if Javonte starts, the other teams have to worry about matchups for us because that ball's going to be moving. Mm-hmm. And you might negate any size advantage that they might have.
So what other successful teams have small lineups, by the way?
Golden State.
Yep. And they're pretty darn successful.
Golden State, right off the bat.
Sorry, you were going to say something about Javonte.
Look, Javante's proven from an offensive standpoint, he can match up against the guys that are taller than him, and he just outquicks them.
Bigger. Yeah, he plays bigger than he actually is.
Yeah.
That guy has hops. I mean, you saw that dunk from in front of the free throw line. Was that against Toronto? I think it was against Toronto.
Yeah.
That man has got a motor that does not stop. Well, that is true, Storm. Golden State has Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, I mean, look, even if you have Hall of Fame, even if you have Steph.
Hall of Flame.
Yeah.
I vote for Carl, the coach, to be in the Hall of Flame.
I don't know what to say.
You've got that orange glow.
I'm speechless. Hey, so look.
First time for everything.
Golden State basically plays like a 3-guard offense, right? And some of those teams in the West are pretty big that they've gone up against the last couple of years, right? Gobert, Anthony Davis, Zion.
But they have Draymond.
Draymond is 6'6", 6'8". He's not a big guy.
He's not. Right? No, he's not a big guy, and that guy is one of the better defenders in the entire league.
DR, that's a good question. So I would say it's hard to say right now. It looks like Io is improved. It looks like AC is improved. I think Dragic is going to give us something from the outside. Kobe's still a wild card. We haven't seen Dalen Terry play enough to know if he's a better shooter from the outside. Zach being healthy, I think, is going to make a difference. DeMar's not really a 3-point shooter anyway. No. Vooch seems to be much more focused from the 3-point line.
He looks fluid, man. He's not doubting his shot right now, which is amazing.
Yeah. So I think that we're gonna have to wait like maybe 5-7 games in to see. The first 5-7 games are rough for the Bulls. We'll know right away how their shooting is.
We will know right away how they are working defensively, but will they go back to the ISO ball? And we talked about that in our last
with C-Dubs, yeah.
With C-Dubs. So that was a great discussion, man. I think everybody was along the lines that the Bulls, if they continue to have that ball movement, not really worried about who's bringing the ball up necessarily, and making all those cuts. And not only are they making cuts better, but they're also driving to the hole and dishing it out to people making cuts. It's not just about the people cutting, but they're actually dribbling to where there's open spaces so the defense collapses on them, and then they're dishing the ball off. In the past, there was too much dribbling. You give it to one man, get out of the way.
Yeah. I know, and part of that started when Lonzo went out, right? The ball didn't move as much when Lonzo got hurt, and we went to almost strictly ISO ball, right? So far, look, it's an adjustment for the Bulls. They're still playing through it, but the good thing is that you got most of those guys coming back, and the two guys that have come in, Dragic and Drummond, seem to be fitting right in. Dragic is a passer, by trade, right? He's a guy that's normally likes to distribute the ball, but he'll shoot when he needs to, right? Okay, Storm, that's a good point, right? I think, or at least I want to believe anyway, right?
I am worried about that too, though.
The chemistry that they have this year, I think, is good enough or strong enough that they're not going to be afraid to call each other out when they start doing too much ISO stuff. It seems to be to me like
I'm not too sure about that yet, but
everyone seems to be on this. Everyone seems to be right now. Look,
I hope you're right.
Look, preseason is what it is. It's really just to kind of, play against some other competition. You're not playing against yourselves in scrimmages all the time.
Yep.
But the last 3 games, right? There's some promising things you saw from the last 3 games.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think and I mentioned also, like, Billy Donovan has a good problem right now. He literally has a team that's 11, 12 deep right now. We talked about this in the last podcast we were in. I don't know how you keep Dalen Terry off the floor.
Yeah, you know what? You know what's funny about Dalen Terry? I mean, watching him in the summer league, and knowing about some of his flaws, it seemed to be more outside shooting than anything. I really thought he was going to start in the G League coming in. I thought that, but I'm definitely wrong. I mean, in fact, he's a stronger defensive player than Kobe White is right now. I think he's actually a stronger defensive player than Zach LaVine is right now, based on watching him move his feet better than those 2 guys and stay in front of people. So you're right. I don't know how they keep him off the floor, but when Alonzo comes back, what in the world do they do? Is that when they try and look for a trade for Kobe?
Yeah, look, Storm, what I'm saying is, like, look, they've already gone 10 deep in the first half already, right? And
That's true,
first half games, right? But that's without Dalen Terry, right? They play 10 guys. That's not playing Dalen Terry or Derrick Jones Jr. They're 10 deep right now, right? Yep. Dalen Terry is going to find minutes somewhere, right?
It's gonna be tough.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but he's going to get minutes in there.
He might get 7 minutes a game.
I disagree. Yeah, Storm, I respectfully disagree, because I think Green is way more. Javonte right now is way more offensively talented than DJJ.
You win first,
right? Well,
I think Green. I mean, once again, I'm going to go back to when we talked to Chuck Swirsky. Chuck Swirsky, who watches a lot of basketball, said Javonte Green, even before we saw him in preseason, was going to be the big outlier for the Bulls. We were all pushing for Patrick Williams, hoping to see some progress there. But Javonte, man, that dude might score 15 points a game the way he's looking. And he does it when you least expect it. He's got like 10 points already. At least that's what he's been looking like.
In preseason, again, it is preseason. His 3-point shooting is better, right? Mm-hmm. He's more aggressive going to the hole. He's not as tentative. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup. He's not as tentative going to the hole. Storm, to your question, the guy that right now I think is on the hot seat is Kobe White. Kobe White easily has to start showing up, or he's going to lose minutes to Dalen Terry in a heartbeat.
Do you think 15's lofty for Javonte Green? I guess it depends on Zach and DeMar's volume.
I could see him getting at least 10 points a night, and that's some of that is garbage. Some of that is off of rebounds. Some of that is on fast breaks.
Yeah, don't care. Yep.
But 10, I think absolutely 10 is possible for him every night, right? Because he just seems to be more confident offensively. He doesn't seem to be afraid to shoot or take it to the hole. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I think that's a combination of him being more confident in his own game and his offensive skills and having one more year in the system. I think he's just more confident, right? But 79. Look, Storm, I think if he's on the second unit, I think he's going to score more. Because the second unit doesn't have a whole lot of scorers per se, right? If you start Patrick Williams, your second unit then basically right now would be Drummond, Dragic, AC, Javante, and Kobe.
5 Javantes.
Right? Look, I'm not saying he's an offensive option, Storm. I'm not saying that at all, right?
No. I think he is going to develop into the offensive option, man.
Yeah. What did you say? You thought he's going to be the third highest scorer, third leading scorer on the team?
I changed it really quick and said 4.
Yeah.
So
I mean, look, like I said, we'll see what happens in the preseason, but he seems to be locked in at the start of the season.
He definitely is, man. So what happens to some of the guys now that are either on the bench or didn't even get a lick of play? Who are we releasing? Who do you think?
The one guy I'm surprised that did not get any playing time at all, even when that last garbage game
Was
against Milwaukee, was Marco.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with that guy, man. He's going to do another year in G League.
Well, Tony Bradley didn't even get a sniff either.
No, I mean, Tony Bradley, they should just cut.
I think they're just waiting. They have to hang on to him, I think, until like 10 or 12 games into the season. Then I think they can cut him.
Well, then they most likely will do that. So yeah. Tony Bradley's on. Marco's going back to the G League. Carlik Jones gone. Malcolm Hill gone.
Malcolm Hill's going to be on the 2-way contract.
Yes. Yeah. So who else are we missing? I mean, just thinking about our second unit, we have a lot of good options. We talked about Andre Drummond, maybe being better than he gets credit for, because a lot of people were disappointed in that pickup. Yeah. But it was a really smart move based on what we could afford at the time.
Storm, with your comment here, look, I think the leash, it's a very short leash for Kobe White this year.
Yeah, I don't even know if Kobe is there. Could be DJ.
Well, I think to start with, you're going to have, because right now with that look, if Javante starts and Patrick Williams is on the second team, Patrick Williams is going to be your number one option on that second unit, right? Kobe White's going to get those spot up threes. That's what he's in the game for. Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
If he doesn't shoot over 50% or over 40%,
50%, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, look, Kobe White's not going to get a whole lot of shots.
No, right? But 50% is pretty darn good, man. You're not getting that from Kobe White.
If he goes 2 for 5, you'd be happy. That's 40%, right?
Yeah. If he gets 40%, I'd be ecstatic. I mean, if he's getting 40%, and you've got improvement in Patrick Williams being more aggressive like he was in that last game. But then again, we were playing the Bucks third unit.
You know,
we're gonna be tougher.
Yeah, Storm, I don't know if I agree with that, just because with the way that the season went last year and the way the bench is this year and the players, I thought that it was true last year, because Vic and I have talked about that, right? Where DeMar, Levine, Zach, or Vooch have been on the floor at all times. I don't think that's going to be the case this year, especially early on. The first week, we got like 4 games in 7 days. It's going to be tough. And I don't think you're going to see, at least in the first half anyway, I don't think you're going to see all those guys in at the same time. You're going to see a true second unit in, especially with the way Drummond and Dragic have been performing the last couple of games. I think you're going to see a true second unit. Right?
No, absolutely, man. What do you think about this question from DJ? DR. Sorry. I'm looking up stuff.
Cleveland.
What about Cleveland?
Cleveland's going to be the Cleveland and Milwaukee are both going to start strong. They're going to be the two toughest guys we have to deal with. And Detroit's got a good young lineup. They're going to be tough to deal with. Indiana's the only weak link in the division.
I agree. I think you're right, spot on. I think it's the Bucks, Bulls, and Cavs fighting for 2-3. And possibly Pistons 3-4, and then the Pacers the last in the league.
Yeah, Cleveland was already tougher as it is, and then adding Spider, I think just really increased their talent level overall. I would, but the one thing I would say, I wouldn't be surprised if Milwaukee takes a step back. They've been running with that same big three for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
And look, even when Giannis talks about potentially going to Chicago sometime in the future, right? If they don't win it this year, right, and they don't win a championship this year, you can start to see that team being broken up.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. You know what was concerning a little bit was the Bulls when they were playing that preseason game against the Bucks. They started off slow. And I do worry about the Bulls doing that, starting off slow with some of these better teams. And what Storm was talking about, getting back to ISO. It's good. You're right. These first 5 games is going to be a huge litmus test. And to see if Billy D makes adjustments, kind of like how we talk about the Bears making adjustments early on. Hopefully Billy D is continuing to toy with his different
lineup.
groups.
Yeah. Storm, have you learned nothing about me? I'm the Chicago team apologist. I'm defending Justin Fields. He's my quarterback. I'm going to make every possible reason to believe in him. Right. Look, Milwaukee, I think Chris Middleton is starting to break down. I think the number of games look, you saw it with the Bulls, right? The number of games they played over a 2-3 year stretch, really affected them. Right. And they even added some pieces this year. I think they added Joe Ingles to their lineup with Grayson Allen in there. Look, Bobby Portis is still a good player. Giannis is Giannis, right? But Chris Middleton's starting to break down a little bit. And
he's been in the league 10 years. He still averages 20 points a game.
Yeah, but he's been getting hurt the last couple seasons.
He has. He's averaged about 64, 65 games the last 3 seasons.
Right. And if he's playing 60 games and he's missing 20 games, that's going to affect their placement, especially in the East this year. Right. We talked about this.
Yeah. Injuries definitely will put a damper on anybody's season, honestly. So I think that's a fair assessment of pretty much every team.
TR, this is a good question. Do you think teams break up too quickly? It just seems with the Bulls and Jordan. I think that's just the
nature of the business.
Yeah, I think it's a super team era, right?
Yep.
It wasn't like when Jordan was around. They didn't want Rodman on the team, but they signed him, right? I think had Jordan played in this era and Jordan and Barkley had a chance to play together, they would have, right? They would have definitely, between Jordan, Barkley, and Pippen, that would have been one hell of a super team if they could have found a way to make that happen. But it's a different time and era right now. So it's not a matter of teams purposely breaking up early. It's the players saying, I want to play here and I want to play here. And that's what I think that makes the Bulls unique, right? They all want to be here. They all wanted to play here. Zach was the one piece that could have left and he didn't want to leave. So,
yep. No, you're absolutely correct, man.
Right?
Yep. I agree.
All right. What about this? What do you think about this one? What Storm says?
This team undressed the Bulls?
Last season.
You're talking about Milwaukee?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Milwaukee killed us.
We also didn't have a full team.
When? In the
last
playoffs
season.
you're talking about?
Yeah, last season.
The playoffs?
Yeah.
You mean with Lonzo being out?
Lonzo was out. Zach didn't play.
No, Zach played some of it, but I mean, he was hurt.
Yeah.
So if Zach comes back and is scoring 20, 25 points a game all season long, yeah, neither did they. That is correct. Neither did the Bucks.
They had Middleton out. They still had Giannis.
Which I know, but that was huge. That was huge. Middleton being out. We were excited that they had a possibility, a potential to win that game, or to win another game.
I would almost okay.
The Bulls, their offense was it was different from what we've seen so far. So if they continue to do that ISO garbage, they're screwed. Against a team like that.
Yeah, look. Storm, yeah. I'm all in tonight, Storm. Did you see this? Yeah, I'm a full home mode tonight. Look, I will say that, and we talked about this, the Bulls bench is better this year. When Andre Drummond is an upgrade over Tony Bradley.
Oh, 1,000%, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and even though we're short Lonzo, right? Dragic is also an upgrade to the second team. And when Lonzo comes back, our bench will be even better because Ayo's going to go to the second team. And he'll be even more confident, right? So,
well, they're going to have to do something then. When Lonzo comes back, they're going to have some really tough decisions to make.
Yeah, I don't know who it is. Vic's an upgrade over Tony Bradley. So
that's hilarious.
Lonzo will be back before the All-Star break. That's my homer mode, right?
I actually believe that for the first time. I actually believe that Lonzo is going to come back in mid-season. It sounds like his last scope that he had done, he's already progressing further than he did last time. So I can see that for sure.
Well, all right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us. This was a good discussion tonight. Thanks for joining in. Bears game tomorrow night against the Commanders. Let's see how Fields does. Bulls don't open the season. We'll be broadcasting after those episodes too. So everyone, thanks for tuning in tonight. If you haven't changed yet, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell to get notified on future episodes. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Love.
And digits.